DSPPL समाज प्रबोधनासाठी आणि सगळ्यांच्या माहितीसाठी हा सोशल एम्पॉवरमेंट फोरम ऑनलाईन प्लॅटफॉर्म चालवतो आणि त्यामध्ये आजचा महत्त्वाचा विषय आहे 9 ते 11 वयोगटातील मुले आणि त्यांच्या समोरील आव्हाने. बरेच वेळा असं वाटतं आपल्याला की 10वी आणि 12वीच्या परीक्षेबद्दल पालक जेवढे जागरूक आहेत, जेवढे गंभीर आहेत, तेवढे मुलगा किंवा मुलगी 9 वर्षाचा होतो तेव्हा त्याच्यामध्ये काय नेमका बदल होतो त्याच्याबद्दल जाणून घेण्यासाठी आजचा हा प्रोग्राम आपण ठेवलेला आहे. The pointers for discussion have also been displayed on the screen. आजच्या आपल्या या चर्चासत्रामध्ये ज्या विषयांवरती, ज्या पॉइंटर्सवरती चर्चा केली जाणार आहे ती देखील इथं समोर आपल्या स्क्रीनवरती सादर केलेली आहे. सो विल स्टार्ट द प्रोग्राम. फर्स्ट आय वुड लाईक टू इंट्रोड्यूस अवर स्पीकर्स. मंजुषा टीचर. Yeah, Manjusha teacher, you are welcome on the forum.
Good morning.
Good morning, good morning. Thank you for joining. So Manjusha teacher is basically principal of Bal Shikshan Mandir. Maharashtra Education Society is very prestigious and popular school in Pune. She is an educator and also a sports person with 20 plus years of rich experience. And I must say that along with being a great teacher, she is also a great student who is continuously learning, updating and upgrading her skills by doing so many certification and different programs. She is expert in theme-based education and was also involved in international student exchange program and many other aspects. Manjusha teacher, warm welcome on behalf of DSPPL.
Thank you.
तुमचं या DSPPL तर्फे सोशल एम्पॉवरमेंट फोरम मध्ये स्वागत आहे.
Thank you.
Our second panel member is Archana teacher.
Yes, good morning, sir.
Yeah, Archana teacher, good morning. Thank you.
Good morning to everyone.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you. Archana teacher is also seasoned teacher having 23 plus years of experience. She is currently principal of prestigious Deccan Education Society's new English medium school in Pune. She enjoys company of students, very positive thinker, and behaves in creating good human beings. Archana teacher, DSPPL चा मोटो देखील तोच आहे, एक नॅचरल अँड नॅशनल कॅरेक्टर बिल्ड करायचं, and probably that's why we have invited you. Warm welcome on behalf of DSPPL.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, our third panel member is Kamala teacher. She has joined, but I think 1 minute. Yeah, Kamala teacher. Yeah, I think she's facing some connectivity challenges. Just a moment. Yeah, Kamala teacher, warm welcome on behalf of DSPPL.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
Good morning and thank you for joining.
Yeah.
Kamala teacher is basically principal of Sane Guruji Vidyalay. Sane Guruji Vidyalay is one of the premier education institute in Dadar, Mumbai, which is run by Navabalodyan Trust. A seasoned teacher and very experienced teacher. Warm welcome, Kamala teacher, on behalf of DSPPL.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Welcome. One more panel member for today is Rama teacher. I think she is traveling, so she might be joining late. And the most important, one more, our speaker and our guide and our mentor, Ajit sir. Ajit sir, warm welcome on behalf of DSPPL.
Yeah, thank you.
So with that, now we will begin with our program with the brief introduction of DSPPL. DSPPL was started with the blessings of Shri Swami Samartha. Swami Samarthanna वंदन करून आणि त्यांच्याकडनं प्रेरणा घेऊन DSPPL या छोट्या संस्थेची आम्ही स्थापना केली. आणि आम्हा सर्वांना मार्गदर्शन करणारे आमचे अजित तेलंग सर. DSPPL ही संस्था मुळातच साधकांनी सुरू केलेली आहे. All the DSPPL directors as well as coordinators and faculties are sadhaks pursuing this beautiful spiritual path. And we started this organization with one simple objective of creating a better world of tomorrow. आपलं जग आहे ते आत्ता छान आहेच, ते अधिक सुंदर करण्यासाठी, अधिक छान बनवण्यासाठी आम्ही या संस्थेची निर्मिती केली. बरेच जण आम्हाला विचारतात की सगळं जग कसं तुम्ही बदलणार. मी म्हटलं आम्ही आमचं जग बदलणार. आपला पर्सनल कॉम्प्युटर असतो, पर्सनल मोबाईल असतं, तसंच आपलंही वैयक्तिक जग आहेच की. आमच्या आजूबाजूला संपर्कात जे जे कोण येणार त्यांना आम्ही या चांगल्या मार्गावरती नेणार. आणि म्हणून आम्ही या संस्थेची स्थापना केली. संस्थेचा उद्देश अतिशय छान आणि साधा. या नव्या तरुणाईला, नवीन जनरेशनला एक नॅचरल आणि नॅशनल कॅरेक्टर बनवण्यासाठी, म्हणजे असं म्हटलं जातं की भारतामध्ये सर्वात जास्त तरुण आणि युवक असणार आहे. मुद्दा असा आहे की पण त्या युवकांना आणि तरुणांना जर योग्य दिशा नसेल तर ते असेट राहतील का, ते स्ट्रेंथ राहतील का, तोच आपला मोठा विकनेस बनेल. आणि म्हणून या सामाजिक उद्देशातून आम्ही या संस्थेची निर्मिती केली. आणि आमचा उद्देश अतिशय साधा आणि सोपा आहे. स्पिरिच्युअलिटी इन एव्हरी वॉक ऑफ लाईफ. कोणतंही काम करण्यापूर्वी आम्ही स्वतःला सांगायचा प्रयत्न करतो की आम्ही आधी साधक आहोत, मग नंतर आम्ही CA असू, नंतर आम्ही इंजिनियर असू, नंतर आम्ही डॉक्टर असू, पण कोणतीही गोष्ट करताना स्पिरिच्युअलिटी इन एव्हरी वॉक ऑफ लाईफ हे आमचं ध्येय आहे. आणि या मुलांकडून एक अतिशय चांगले आयडियल ग्लोबल सिटीजन घडवले जावे अशी आमची दुर्दम्य इच्छा आहे. आणि त्यासाठी DSPPL वेगवेगळे प्रोग्राम्स ऑर्गनाईज करतं. मुलांसाठी सॉफ्ट आणि स्ट्रॉंग, जे 9 ते 14 वयोगटासाठी सॉफ्ट आणि 14 पासून पुढे युथसाठी स्ट्रॉंग असे प्रोग्राम्स ऑर्गनाईज केले जातात. महिलांसाठी वाईस हा स्पेसिफिकली डिवोटेड वुमेन्स इनेट सेल्फ एम्पॉवरमेंट हा प्रोग्राम केला जातो. आणि सिनियर सिटीजनसाठी गोल्डन लोटस हा प्रोग्राम केला जातो. आम्ही असं मानतो की कोणत्याही व्यक्तीचा व्यक्तिमत्व विकास जर व्हायचा असेल तर त्या व्यक्तीचा एकट्या दुकट्याचा विकास होऊ शकत नाही. अख्खं कुटुंब जर बरोबर चाललं तर त्या विकासामध्ये फार चांगली साथ मिळते. आणि ह्याच उद्देशाने आम्ही DSPPL संस्थेची स्थापना केली. अजित सर आमचे प्रेरणास्थान. अजित सर स्वतः मास्टर्स फ्रॉम इन्स्टिट्यूट ऑफ सायन्स इन न्यूक्लिअर अँड रेडिओ केमिस्ट्री आणि जमनालाल बजाज इन्स्टिट्यूटमधनं मॅनेजमेंट स्टडीज त्यांनी मास्टर्स डिग्री मिळवली. आफ्टर सक्सेसफुल कॉर्पोरेट करिअर अँड सक्सेसफुल एंटरप्रिन्युअर ऑफ 2 सॉफ्टवेअर एक्सपोर्ट कंपनीज बिसाइड्स मॅनेजमेंट कन्सल्टिंग, 25 वर्षापूर्वी 97 साली त्यांनी हे सगळं सोडून रेकी विद्यानिकेतन स्पिरिच्युअल प्रॅक्टिसेसची सुरुवात केली. आणि आज आम्हाला सांगायला अतिशय अभिमान आणि गौरव वाटतो की आज रेकी विद्यानिकेतनचे 16 पेक्षा अधिक सेंटर्स भारतात आणि US मध्ये आहेत. मोर दॅन 16+ सेंटर्स आणि 40,000पेक्षा जास्त लोक या पाथवरती चालू आहेत. More than 40,000 people, more than 40,000 students have been walking on this beautiful path. Ajit sir has also written number of books, including Rainbow in the Heart, Mirages and Voices, Essence of Spirituality, and Holistic Parenting. So thank you, Guruji. Thank you very much. We are happy to introduce you because you have made to introspect ourselves in our lives. Welcome on behalf of DSPPL on this forum. As far as DSPPL work is concerned.
Can I say something, Ranjil, before we go ahead?
Yeah, sir, please.
Whether everybody is comfortable with Marathi or maybe some of them may not be. We may have to switch over to Hindi. Just check up with the audience.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. As far as student activities are concerned, how it all started? ये सब की शुरुआत कहाँ से हुई? ये सब की शुरुआत 2004 में जब गुरुजी अजीत सर US में थे. And with one incident, he got the insight and thereafter started a detailed research of more than 10,500 students and their families from India and US. And with that study, it was established that the young generation, specifically those who are born after the year 2000, they possess 28 completely different characteristic traits from the earlier generation. पहले के जमाने में भी जब कोई डिफरेंसेस आते थे हम कहते थे जनरेशन गैप है. But with this study, we were able to establish that this is not a generation gap, but there is a structural gap. And therefore, we started working on this new generation students, new generation children and their parents. We started our first residential program in the year 2012, and we are very happy that last year, 2022, we completed 1 decade, 10 years. The program is named Pathway to Wisdom, प्रज्ञा का मार्ग. ये प्रोग्राम से हमने शुरुआत की, and now we have also started with the non-residential program. Just to give you very brief highlights, 21 plus cities from India and US where we have conducted such sessions, 250 plus workshops for new generation parenting challenges, and 2000 plus students and families were empowered so far. We are very happy to share all our research finding, to make our all experiments available for the cause of society so that we can build a strong natural and national character. We also got support from several corporates. Mahindra and Mahindra is one of such big corporate house. Along with that, government organization like DRDO, Archaeological Society, Deccan College from Pune, Yash Pharma, and many other institutes have all backed DSPPL's program. These are just the glimpses. Student program जो होते हैं, residential, non-residential program, इसके ये कुछ photos है. And with this brief introduction of DSPPL, now I basically come to today's topic. Why 9 to 11 years old children? बहुत पेरेंट्स है, बहुत टीचर्स है, उनको लगेगा कि अरे 9 to 11 के लिए ऐसा स्पेशल प्रोग्राम क्यों है, इतनी क्या आवश्यकता है, इतनी क्या जरूरत है. बहुत ज्यादा जरूरत है. 10th और 12th के बारे में, ग्रेजुएशन एंड पोस्ट ग्रेजुएशन के बारे में शायद बहुत सारे लोग सोचते हैं. किंडरगार्टन में कौन से स्कूल में एडमिशन मिले, इसके बारे में भी बहुत सारे लोग सोचते हैं, शायद इसलिए कि एक बार वहां एडमिशन हो गया तो अप टू 10th स्टैंडर्ड इज नो नीड टू वरी. But the biggest change is happening probably during this particular period of 9 to 11 years. The biggest change is in the form of 3 aspects. First, it is a transition from childhood to adulthood. Second, it is a change in the level of consciousness. And that's why appropriately channelizing of the energy is very crucial, very important. चाइल्डहुड से एडल्टहुड का ये जो बदलाव है, ये बदलाव सिर्फ शारीरिक तौर पे नहीं है, शारीरिक के साथ साथ मानसिक, बौद्धिक, भावनिक और आध्यात्मिक तौर पे भी ये बदल हो रहा है. ये बदल को अगर हम नहीं समझ पाए तो गड़बड़ हो सकती है. ये बदल क्यों होता है? बदल इसलिए होता है बिकॉज देयर इज अ ट्रांजिशन, शिफ्टिंग ऑल्सो along with the pineal gland. Pituitary glands also gets activated, and because of that there is a release of so many hormones. ये मैं बायोलॉजी के स्तर पर आपको बता रहा हूं कि ये बदलाव कब आता है. ये बदलाव इसी उम्र में आता है, 9 to 11 years, and it is the first reason that why this age group is important, why we need to start some special programs for this particular age group of students. दूसरा इसका महत्वपूर्ण कारण है कि जैसे हम मानते हैं कि विष्णु भगवान के अवतार है, उसमें वामन अवतार है, पर ये विष्णु भगवान के हमारे भी खुद के अवतार है. 8 साल तक का जो बच्चा वह मन था, मन से परे था, आनंदी उसका स्वरूप था, वो अचानक परशुराम हो जाता है. एक्टिविटी ओरिएंटेड, एग्रेशन, सारे इमोशंस बाहर आने लगते हैं क्योंकि उसका मन डेवलप होने लगा है. और उसको मन को ध्यान देना बहुत ही आवश्यक है. एज अ मनुष्य सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट चीज अगर कुछ है तो मन, तो उसको ध्यान देना आवश्यक है. और इसलिए पुराने जमाने में क्या करते थे, वो कहते थे कि अभी उसको गुरु के पास भेजो, तो गुरु क्या करेगा, गुरु दीक्षा देगा. संस्कृत शब्द दीक्षा अगर देखे, दिक प्लस शाह, दिक यानी बुद्धि और शाह यानी बुद्धि और दिक यानी दिशा. बुद्धि को दिशा देने का काम गुरु करेगा, और शायद यही आज हम स्कूल के जरिए कर रहे हैं. तो सवाल यह है कि ये सारे इंपॉर्टेंट एस्पेक्ट है 9 to 11 ईयर चिल्ड्रन के बारे में जो बदलाव हो रहे हैं, इनके बारे में जो हमारा रिसर्च है, हम जो देख रहे हैं, और हम उनके लिए इसलिए प्रोग्राम कर रहे हैं. पर हमने सोचा कि जो हर रोज स्कूल में एज अ प्रिंसिपल, एज अ टीचर, ये बच्चों के साथ हर रोज जिनका संबंध आ रहा है, उनको कैसे लग रहा है, और इसलिए इन लोगों को हमने आज इन्वाइट किया. एंड नाउ वी विल स्टार्ट अंडरस्टैंडिंग देयर ओन एक्सपीरियंसेस, what they think about this particular age group of 9 to 11 years, what are the challenges faced by them, and then we can have a discussion relating to that. एक एक स्पीकर उनके व्यूज यहाँ पे रखेंगे, और अगर किसी के मन में कोई सवाल है तो लास्ट में, अंत में हम सवाल लेंगे. सो वी विल स्टार्ट विथ कमला टीचर. कमला टीचर, कैन वी बिगिन विथ यू? Yeah, you can unmute yourself. Yeah.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, please, madam.
Yeah.
Forum is all open.
Good morning to everyone present here. My name is Kamala. I work as administrator of primary section in Sane Guruji English Medium School. First of all, I would like to thank DSPPL for giving me an opportunity to talk on this topic. This transition phase is very sensitive phase. So during this phase, they go through many changes due to the hormonal changes in their body. Whether it is physical, mental, or emotional changes takes place. So what we observe in the children, even in primary section, standard 2 or standard 3 or 4, they start bullying their peer group. So which is happening earlier, it was never used to happen in primary section, but now we have observed many times children start bullying their friends. So what we have taught when they start bullying their friends, what we do, we conduct value education through conducting through assemblies. We select the topics, what we are facing the problems with the children. So there are many changes like, what we do, we select the topic. With that, we try to impart the education through values, conducting the skits based on the proper topics. And we ask the students to enact. Here, the teachers play an important role, how to put the message to the children by conducting the value education through special assemblies. So here, what we have seen, when physiological or changes takes place in the body, in the children's mind also, they feel sometimes very hesitant to express themselves. Here, parents and teachers play an important role to understand their feelings, and we always give them time to express their feelings, what they are going through. That parents have to balance between the responsibility of a parent as well as a friend to them. When they become little friend to them, they feel very free to express their views, whatever they are going through the changes in this adolescence on onset of puberty. So here, parents need to understand. We understand that both the parents are always busy with their work schedule, but they need to take out their time for their children. So we try to conduct the parental session also in our schools through our counselor, and we try to uh, explain them, what kind of role they have to play with the children when this transition period happens with them. Due to this transition period, they try to get the information through the internet. Sometimes it may give wrong information through internet. Here, parents need to support them when and how to use the mobile in a proper way by setting the time schedule for them, which is very, very important. Parents need to monitor their children, and teachers here also, they play an important role by mentoring them. It's not necessary that you have to teach every time whatever topic is given to them, but they need to mentor the children that the proper energy, how to utilize, because they have the energy levels are very high during this time. So we should divert this energy in a proper constructive way by encouraging them to participate in different types of activities like sports. Here we have seen many times parents don't give much importance to sports. So here we can encourage them to participate in sports, which they can utilize their energy in a proper constructive way by spending. Like for example, if a parent spends time with the child while going to cycling or the doing the running marathon, children, we can encourage from the childhood onwards these habits to be developed. In the school, we ask the children to write, to develop the writing skills. We ask them to write their feelings, what they feel. So when they write and developing the reading habits of the stories based on the moral, mythological stories, which help them from the childhood to develop these skills, which help them to go a long way in their personality development. Here, due to the peer pressure and all, they don't understand many things because they try to develop their some kind of different things, like what we do as a school, Sane Guruji, we take them to the orphanage center. We ask them to collect the things what they require, and we take them to the orphanage center, and we ask students to interact with these orphanage people, what they are depriving of, how they are blessed to have the parents and the facilities which they are getting, but these children are not getting this type of facilities. They are deprived of this. When they interact with these children, they get to know that how they are blessed with so many things. So these are the values to be inculcated as a school, as a teachers in the children, to come out of this, what they are going through, the changes in the body. So which we feel it is a must as a school, as a parent, to play an important role with the children to develop mentally and physically as well as emotionally. So with this, I would like to conclude my views and over to.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much, Kamala teacher,
Yes,
for
yes. Yeah, yeah.
important views. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Now we will move on to our next speaker, Archana teacher. So Archana teacher, may I request you to please have your views on this particular subject.
Yes, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, 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 madam.
Namaskar and a happy morning to all of you present on this forum. I am here to discuss the challenges faced by children aged 9 to 11 years. This is an age where we do not consider children as a child or even as a teenager, isn't it? It's a confused state whether the child is he her child, a grown up, a teenager. So in this stage, we call it as a confused stage. While moving from one phase into another, a child undergoes several changes. There might be factors that affect his physical, emotional, and social changes. Mostly, physical changes causes curiosity, and many of them want to know more about what is happening around them. If they are unable to understand this, it may lead to problems. They are unable to approach or ask anyone because this age is such that, as I told, they are confused. If they feel like asking, they feel that they might be wrong or they might be mocked at. So, in that particular thing, they do not come out with their problems. And we clearly see that the child is facing some problem. So they are unable to approach anyone or ask anyone of their problem. In this quest to know more, they live with their problems, like the problem aggravates because there is no one to help them out. In a battle to know more or cope up with the changes, they fail to give their best. No, we see that some children, like parents, only come out with the theory, like in pre-primary they were doing very good, they were getting A grade, A plus grade, and as the child grows from first to second, second to third standard, we might find that the grades or the marks in which we actually evaluate a child, it comes down slowly. This is all because the child is trying to cope up with the problems that are going on in his surrounding. Sometimes as teachers we might fail, as parents we might fail to find out the problem, and that's why the child goes down in his academics also. Nowadays it is seen that a child is exposed to so many things in his environment. It might be his friends, various channels on TV, various apps on the mobile, and sometimes the content in these channels or in these apps are not appropriate for the age. No, so as adults it is very necessary that we view or we keep a record of what the child is actually watching. Sometimes children are very clever nowadays, like we call them as techno savvy. They are on YouTube watching something, and if you just go to peep, they switch on to the other app. So we need to check the history because it has happened in our school that the children have also learned to clear the history, like what they have viewed. So all these things keeping in mind, it is very necessary to see like what they are watching, to monitor them continuously. So it will really help them. But our bad luck that many parents and grandparents give mobile in the child's hand to make them sit quiet. No, it is we only we are giving them mobiles. की हे हा घे मोबाईल आणि शांत बस. मला माझं सीरियल बघू दे, मला माझं काम कंप्लीट करू दे, मला ऑफिसचं काम आहे. And then we give that mobile in their hand and then we make them sit quiet. This usually happens, usually it is observed that in my family also, like there are a few kids, like when the child doesn't want to eat food, have his lunch or dinner, and then the mother insists that you have the mobile, you watch your cartoons, and then you have the food. In this, what happens, the child is having one bite of food and watching a clip for more than 2-3 minutes, then other bite of food, and again watching the or playing some game. And then when we ask, like when we question the parents or our relatives, like why it is happening, and they very nicely, very proudly they say that nothing, they're just watching, listening to some rhymes, poems, or something that is appropriate for their age. But I personally feel that while having lunch or dinner, everyone should start it by saying a prayer, isn't it? Giving a mobile in the hand is not the way. First, म्हणजे संस्कार जे आपण म्हणतो, that starts when you sit together on a dining table or you sit down in the room. First, you start with a prayer and then you start with the food. A child will learn to have his food when the people around him have their food with their hand. Roti, chapati is there, rice, any form of food. And then, sorry, then you concentrate on what is served. Isn't it? The child is just eating without knowing what vegetable is there in the chapati. He just keeps munching because all his concentration is in the mobile. So, without having any happiness, he's just gulping up the food. This time can also be utilized. No, it is not only about having the food. We can have a small topic discussion over our food, lunch or dinner time. It can be a day-to-day routine, like the father talks about what happened in the office. The mother tells that if she is a housewife, she can tell that what was a routine in the house. You can ask the child, how was the schooling, what happened, and that time you come to know the problems that the child is facing in the school or at home or in his surrounding. So that time I believe that food will taste more good and also help for proper digestion. That is very important. Now, only gulping up the food will not do. So there is a small example over here. Just 2 days back, I'd been for a program, and in the program, I happened to meet a small child over there, and he was sitting on his mother's lap, and I was speaking to the mother. So the mother just said that this auntie, she's a teacher, and just wish her good evening. And he was into the mobile. He didn't want to say good evening or hello to me. So I just put my hand in front of him to shake the hand, and his mother just pulled the mobile. At that instant, what happened? The child ran away from there because he was angry. Just because for 1 minute he had to shake a hand with me or say good evening. To avoid that, because the mobile was taken away, this was the thing. So, what type of children are we creating? She couldn't scold him because she was in a program. Probably later she must have forgotten. But as parents, as teachers, little things that matter to us, when we notice it, it is not that we speak it out in the public, but later on, the child should be made aware of the mistake, that this is what you did. I have not liked it. Next time, this should not be done. Yes, I'll be giving you the mobile, but with that, you have to take care of the things that are happening around you. Sometimes, we find that children are glued to chairs and sofas the whole day, isn't it? Or mobile, laptops, um, whatnot we have given in their hands. But I always feel that the energy is not utilized and they do not play any outdoor games. R- Right now, ma'am said that playing on the ground, children have forgotten. And it is also observed that only time that they play is in the school. During the break, 20 minutes break, 10 minutes they eat food, 10 minutes they run about, or in the PE period or the games period. And at home, they don't have those facilities to go out and play or all the time studies running up from this class to that class, drawing class, maths class, this class and that class. So this might surely lead to health issues in the future. I'm not talking that now the child might seem very smart, active, but in future they might crop up with issues, health issues. So good food, good diet, or good exercises is an integral part of each individual. If we see the emotional accept as aspect of this, we will also see that children are facing many problems. Sometimes the child is a single child, no, single child living with an in a nuclear family. So sharing and caring becomes a big problem. They don't learn to share. No, one exercise just now, ma'am has told. Even we do it, taking children to orphanage, giving something out, like helping people in the flood relief, or sending rakhis to soldiers who are in the border. All these activities, help the child to know that sharing with the people and caring for them is also one part of their life. So, in sometimes if the child is single, they don't understand this because they don't know what to share, and that time they become more and more like they want everything for themselves. They feel that everything is there, it is only belongs to them. And sometimes even parents, they become overprotective and over possessive about the child because it's only single child. So I agree that each parent, for every parent, a child is precious. But in this we forget that the child has to survive on his own in this world. So when we are doing all these things in the race, sometimes the race to give the child the best, we forget to give our time, which is the best thing that we can give our child is time. So to give them, like, they want a laptop, they want a mobile, they want a game, they want a toy. So we keep on earning and earning things. But what the child requires is our attention and time, and that we forget to give. So not only as a child, not only as a parent, but as teachers also, teachers look to complete the syllabus. We neglect the child sometimes. It shouldn't be like this. If the child comes up with the problem, it needs to be solved there and there. It can be like also children are very at this age 9 to 11, the children are very much emotionally attached to the people around them, whether it is parents, grandparents, teachers, friends. They connect very quickly. Very small example, if I walk down the uh, corridors of the classroom, or even if I enter the class, the child immediately says, "Ma'am, today you're looking nice." They're seeking attention. Even if it is my regular dress, or even if the teacher is wearing a regular dress, they just say immediately, "Ma'am, today you're looking nice." That means they want our attention. They praise us, so that at least we talk to the child. We say, thank you so much for praising me. You have made my day. These small words really make a lot of difference in a child's life. Pranjal sir, is it okay if I take more 2 minutes, or we are running short of time?
No, please continue.
Yeah. Many times we can also hear a child giving good remarks about the teacher, and sometimes it is a negative remarks, that this teacher, she's like this, she's harsh, she always cribs, or something like this. From where do they learn these words? It comes from the parents. No, when the parents discuss in the house, they talk about a particular person. I'm not talking only as a teacher, anyone in the house, or in the even about the neighbor. ही मावशी आहे ना, ती अशीच आहे, खूप कटकट करती. And the same word, the child uses in front of the friends. ती so and so मावशी ना, ती खूप कटकट करती. From where do they learn these things? It is we as elders, we are teaching them. सो when we make use, म्हणजे आपण जेव्हा हे वर्ड्स यूज करतो ना, आपण वी हॅव टू बी व्हेरी केअरफुल, की आपण काय मुलांसमोर बोलतोय, आपण काय डिस्कस करतोय. कारण हे शब्द तो मुलगा किंवा ती मुलगी कधी ना कधी आपल्या समोर न कळत ते बोलतात, आणि मग आपल्याला असं वाटतं की अरे, ही तर आपली चूक होती. तर ही चूक आपल्या लवकर लक्षात आली तर हे मुलं तसे वागणार नाही. वी हॅव टू बी अ रोल मॉडेल फॉर देम. they will they always observe us, how we walk, how we sit, how we talk. Yes, Bhumi ma'am's hand is in front, raised. Bhumi ma'am, do you want to ask something? Bhumi ma'am's hand is raised. Is it by mistake?
I think so.
Okay, no
Yeah.
issues. So all these things, no, the way we stand, walk, dress up, everything matters a lot to these young children. So as mentioned earlier, there are some problems, distractions. It can be in the same sex or opposite sex. Even at the age of 5 and 6, as we, like now we are 40 plus. When we were schooling, our distractions came when we were in the college level or after 20. But nowadays the distractions are coming in the class 4, 5 and 6, because the child needs that emotional attention. And where does he seek that attention? It is from his friends, whether it is a boy or a boy girl opposite side. And this distraction leads to downfall of studies. No, the child cannot becomes restless. He cannot study or she cannot study. म्हणजे अभ्यास करू शकत नाही, नीट जेवू शकत नाही, झोपू शकत नाही. कारण there is some restlessness that is coming out. की मला काहीतरी सांगा. And that instant word that comes out is I love you. This is happening in most of the schools. I have observed, I have spoken to many teachers की ह्या कुठल्या एज ग्रुपला होत आहे. So it is starting from 5th standard onwards. म्हणजे 9 वर्ष 10-11. I love you. They don't know the meaning. So at that time, if we find out this problem, as parent, you should talk to the teacher or to the HM की त्या मुलाच्या बुकमध्ये ना मागे मुलं स्क्रिबल करतात. आय लव्ह सो अँड सो पर्सन. आणि मग त्या ग्रुपमध्ये म्हणजे ज्या ग्रुपमध्ये ते वावरतायत तिकडे तो डिस्कशनचा इश्यू बनतो. तिकडं ते क्लासमध्ये जातं. क्लासमध्ये ते स्टाफ रूम मध्ये जातं. आणि it is really embarrassing to the child that these things are discussed, no? Because it is not love. That is not that type of love that we are thinking. It can be a friendship that he is urging to have or she is urging to have. तर हा मेजर प्रॉब्लेम आता आपल्याला ह्या एज ग्रुप मध्ये बघायला मिळतं, बिकॉज ऑफ द सराउंडिंग, द एन्व्हायरमेंट दॅट वी आर गिव्हिंग देम. फास्ट लाईक दे आर मुव्हिंग व्हेरी फास्ट. जे ऍप्स आपण जे म्हणतो ना त्याच्यामध्ये त्यांना ते वेगवेगळ्या सिरियल मध्ये, मूवीज मध्ये, ऍड्स मध्ये त्यांना दिसून येतं की ना हाऊ दिस अट्रॅक्शन इज. आणि वी कॅनॉट स्टॉप, वी कॅनॉट स्टॉप अ चाइल्ड फ्रॉम वॉचिंग और व्ह्यूइंग दिस. बट व्हॉट वी कॅन डू इज वी कॅन हेल्प द चाइल्ड नो व्हॉट इट इज. नो, I always say ki when they say na, they write on small chits, I love you, and they pass it on anyone it goes to, like, and then it is a big issue in the class. And then I say, like, no, how you love your teacher, how you love your parents, how you love your grandparents, same way you can love your friends. There is nothing. So I love you लिहिलं म्हणून काय फरक पडला नाही. You can write to your parents, you can write to your friends also. So this way we can resolve the problems. So आणि दुसरं लास्ट, लाईक ऍज adults we find stress. म्हणजे there are many points, like as a teacher I can go on for hours and hours, but there are other speakers also. म्हणजे as a adults, no, we find stress when changes take place ना. म्हणजे आपल्याला स्ट्रेस केव्हा येतो, जेव्हा आपल्यामध्ये चेंजेस घडतात. मग हा स्ट्रेस मुलांमध्ये पण येतो, हे आपल्याला कळत नाही. वी फील दॅट नाही नाही हेच बरोबर आहे. Yes, children also undergo stress, but they don't know the word that it is a stress. Changes when or she undergoes changes continuously मुलांमध्ये चेंज होत राहतात. कसं? कारण कधी कधी काय होतं, 1 वर्षात म्हणजे 7व्या वर्षात 8व्या वर्षात जाणार तो एक चेंज होतो. मग तो चेंज मध्ये जसं वर्ष वाढतं, फिजिकल इमोशनल सगळे चेंजेस होतात. जेव्हा आपण घर बदलतो त्यावेळेस मुलांमध्ये चेंजेस होतात, की ते नेबर सोडून, ते फ्रेंड सोडून दुसरीकडे जाणं इज नॉट इझी फॉर देम. स्कूल्स चेंज करतो, स्कूलमधनं कॉलेजमध्ये जातो, तेव्हा एक चेंज आपल्याला आणि most important is within the family. Why I'm using the word nuclear family? पहिला म्हणजे पूर्वी जसं आजी आजोबा असायचे आपल्या बरोबर, खूप फरक पडायचा. म्हणजे आई तिच्या कामाला जाऊ शकत होती बिंदास, बाबा कामामध्ये कॉन्सन्ट्रेट करू शकत होते, कारण आजी आजोबा घरी असायचे. तर हा जो चेंज आहे म्हणजे आजी आजोबाला सोडून जाणे, काका काकूला सोडून जाणे, हा सुद्धा मुलांच्या बिहेवियर मध्ये चेंज होऊ शकतो. एक छोटंसं एक एक्झाम्पल देते आणि मी थांबवते. आमच्या शाळेमध्ये एक 6वी मध्ये मुलगा आहे. तो कोकणात त्याच्या आजी आजोबांबरोबर राहायचा. आजी डाईड ड्युरिंग कोविड. सो देयर वॉज नो वन, म्हणजे आजोबांना त्याला सांभाळणं थोडं मुश्किल होतं आणि आई बाबा त्याचे पुण्यात होते. तर मग त्याला पुण्यात आणलं. इट टूक मी नियरली 1 इयर. नाव ऑल्सो आय एम फेसिंग प्रॉब्लेम. द टीचर्स ऑल्सो फेसिंग प्रॉब्लेम, की आजी आजोबाला सोडून येणं आई बाबांकडं. इट वॉज लिटिल डिफिकल्ट फॉर हिम. तो नेहमी मला म्हणायचा, "मिस मला परत कोकणात जायचंय. कामवाली माझ्याकडे बघेल. मीन्स द मेड विल लुक आफ्टर मी. But I want to go back." Now, somewhere after 1.5 years, he has settled. Why? Because his grandfather knew the difficulty he is facing आणि त्याचे आजोबा पुण्यात राहायला आले. So this also makes a lot of difference. Grandparents play a very huge role in shaping or molding the child. It's not only parents, grandparents also make. Like, why I can give so much time to the school, because my child, both the girls, daughters, they have grown in midst of their grandparents. And that is what we, म्हणजे जे संस्कार घडतात ना, हे आई आई आजोबा आजी टीचर्स म्हणून आपल्याला द्यायचे असतात. सो आणि जसं मी स्ट्रेसचं बोलले ना, एक अजून छोटंसं एक्झाम्पल देते. आय वॉज वॉचिंग अ व्हिडिओ ऑन युट्यूब. म्हणजे युट्यूब कॅन बी पॉझिटिव्ह अँड नेगेटिव्ह. एक छान कपिल देवची मुलाखत होती आणि त्याच्यामध्ये कपिल देवला विचारलं, की जो वर्ल्ड कप तुम्ही जिंकला होता पूर्वी मागचा फर्स्ट, त्यावेळेस तुम्ही किती स्ट्रेस मध्ये खेळला? तर कपिल देव जस्ट आन्सर्ड, "व्हॉट इज स्ट्रेस? टिल नाव आय डोंट नो, बिकॉज वी नेव्हर प्लेड अंडर स्ट्रेस." खेळणं स्ट्रेसच्या खाली इज समथिंग डिफिकल्ट. खेळणं म्हणजे यू शुड बी हॅपी. यू शुड प्ले हॅपीली, विलिंगली. स्ट्रेस मध्ये खेळणं, स्ट्रेस मध्ये बॉलिंग करणं म्हणजे वाईड बॉल जाणार, आउट होना. दिस ही सेड, वी नेवर प्लेड अंडर स्ट्रेस. क्या होता है मुझे पता नहीं, खेलने के टाइम स्ट्रेस आया, मतलब आपने खेला ही नहीं. So this is a very nice example. So when a child studies in school or he is at home, the life that is given to him, the surround that is given to him should be stressless and life should be happy. On this note, I would like to leave and observe. Leave that, observe, understand, and resolve the problems a child faces in his growing age. It is very necessary. It is not only parents, even as teachers, we need to observe, understand, and try to, don't just leave it over there and put it in the report card. He cannot do this. He is not up to the mark. Try to resolve it and give positive remarks. नाही तुला भांडे घासता आले, म्हणजे it can be. It is not only that girls and boys. Boys also are now helping mother in the kitchen. नाही व्यवस्थित प्लेट धुता आली. नेक्स्ट टाइम से, अरे थोडासा साबण राहिला होता, पण छान धुतली हा, बाकीची प्लेट एकदम मस्त. नेक्स्ट टाइम यू विल सी की तेवढा म्हणजे साबण पावडर or any detergent won't live on the plate. So this is small examples through which we learn. So thank you DSPPL for making a part of this forum, and also best wishes to you for creating a better world for tomorrow. Thank you, Pranjal sir, and
Thank you.
all the team members. Thank you, dear parents, for listening to me.
Thank you, Archana madam. Thank you very much, and very vital points. And we will straight away move to our next speaker member, Manjusha teacher. Over to you. Yes, madam.
Yeah. Good morning, everyone, and thank you, Pranjal. As we speak about the children aged 9 to 11 years, it's important to acknowledge that it is a unique period of human life. Adolescents are just people trying to learn how to make it amongst the adults in the world on their journey towards self-discovery who are probably not so sure of themselves. Growing up is something that comes with life and it is unstoppable. This age is transformation from being children to young adults. At this juncture of life, children are not only trying to discover themselves, but also their immediate environment. A lot of mental and physical changes are taking place. Bodies are undergoing puberty and physical development. Physical changes bring on new emotions on their self-image. In this experiential and experimental period, with a lot of peer pressure, they are intrigued to try different hairstyles and different sense of fashion, with appearance being a prime focal area. Hormones run rampant, leading to unhealthy choices. They show impulsive behavior and are more drawn to peers than ever before. They develop personal relationships with those who share their interests. Now, it's easy to get entangled in the weeds of addiction as a form of escape from the new reality without support from parents and peers. The brain begins to think on adult levels, but they still are bound to make poor decisions because of lack of focus. Social expectations put a lot of unfair pressure, which increases the chances of decreased mental health and stability. Social media is also playing a pivotal role in when it comes to acceptance on how one must look, no matter what challenges they are facing. Some may even face bullying. They try new things because of newfound independence and take risks, resulting in careless behavior. This is the time we need to step up and reach out to them. Make them aware of the changes in and around them. Explain to them that it is normal for a body to change, and most importantly, help them adapt to the changes and enable them to stay fit and healthy. The chances of parent-adolescent conflicts are at its peak during this time. But let them talk. Let them express and listen to them without judging. They are highly sensitive at this time and may not take criticism well. A connection can be established by sharing your experiences with them and emphasizing that it is okay to feel a certain way. Indulging in creative activities can help them channelize their energies and emotions. It can also help them to keep their aggression in control. We can keep an eye on their behavior, but do not spy on them or overly intrusive or accuse them. Ask if they have concerns. Ask if something is bothering them. Talk to them about their problems. Initiate conversations even if they don't. They may face confidence issues, stress, and anxiety. Encourage them to communicate. Enrolling in activities of interest can help them socialize with like-minded children and keep them busy. This is an appropriate age to mold their behavior and hone their skills. Teach them to be kind and considerate. Teach them life skills. Lead them by example. Speak to them about having a healthy and nutritious diet and provide them with it. Every child is unique. Do not compare them with other children and set unrealistic standards or expectations and be over-competitive. Remember, it is not a competition amongst parents. If they are seeking your attention, don't let them feel neglected. Now let's speak about distractions on the path of the studies. The major distraction is the smartphone and the internet. If they have been given a smartphone, they have the urge to check social media frequently, call and text while studying, or hop onto trends or reels that are age inappropriate. Screen time has a direct negative impact on attention span and can lead to temper tantrums, mood swings, sleep disruptions, irritability, and aggression. This may be addicted to cyberspace or the internet. Do not say no directly to using internet. Instead, use parental control to monitor and limit the usage. Certain cyber rules and boundaries can be set. Limit the use of mobile phones to few hours a day. Passive learning through smart home devices like Alexa and Google Home also needs to be supervised. Playing online games to a prolonged extent can be exhaustive and leads to loss of valuable time that could have been used in a productive manner. Watching extensive hours of television is another distraction, leading to unnecessary stress on eyes, anxiety, and can lead to sleep deprivation. Now let's speak about friends. Hanging out with friends and chatting is the most joyous part of growing up, and it plays an important role in the overall development, while sometimes not knowing where to draw a line. It is said that we tend to become like or think like the 5 people we spend our time the most with. Some friends can negatively impact behavior and thoughts. They could also discourage good deeds. This may leave the child confused, misguided, and directionless. Some other distractions may be lost in thought, daydreaming, procrastination, unnecessary talking, urge to eat or drink while studying, etc. So how can we help? The attention span of children between the age of 9 to 11 years is 20 to 35 minutes. We must accept that distractions cannot be completely eliminated. So instead of taking drastic measures to deal with distractions, it is important to brain train them to minimize these distractions. This can be done using the ABC formula. Now, what is this ABC formula? A, awareness, recognition of what is distraction. B, breathing deeply, time to slow down and think. C, choice, choose mindfully how to deal with distraction, responding or dismissing it. To be here now. This is the phrase that can be repeated time and again, and it is a form of meditation. Find time for your kids. They spend 8 hours of their day in school, and the time left after all playing and studying is limited and precious. Make this time a quality time. Link their studies to real-life examples. Allow study breaks. Maintain a doable timetable. Set a dedicated study place so they feel focused. Keep things handy and make a checklist of what is needed for effective study sessions. Make them understand the importance of routine. Encourage them to set small goals using visual tools like whiteboards, checklists, etc. Completing small tasks will give them a sense of accomplishment. Listen to them carefully. Give them a chance to explain themselves. Handle them gently and politely. Motivate them to discuss and share their feelings. Guide them while letting them work on a solution. Provide them with the right tools, including correct use of technology for better results. Make learning interactive and fun. Make this phase of their childhood a memorable journey. Now let us understand the changes in the learning environment during the transition from the primary to secondary school. It is exciting at the same time, terrifying and complex. They are not changing the school building or section, but also changing hormonally, emotionally, mentally, and physically. Establishing an effective transition program during the transition process will be helpful. Some students mature faster. Those who are developmentally behind experience more stress than their counterparts. With the transition come procedural changes and challenges. Children are thrown into an environment of independence and responsibility. A very different environment from what they have been used to. They are expected to move to classes on their own, manage their time wisely, organize and keep materials ready, take classwork and homework from multiple teachers, and follow the deadlines. They move from a highly structured, guided, and dependent environment in the primary school to a less structured environment in the secondary school. Expectations, procedure, and rules are of major concern. More self-regulation is required. They are at the crossroads of a social development. Making new friends is challenging too. They are expected to build relationships with peers and teachers. This could be especially challenging for the introverts. To help bridge this gap, certain initiatives like guided tours of the new school area and classrooms to familiarize the children with the new environment, hosting meetings and interactions, sending welcome letters, and making the first day of school memorable can be helpful. Teachers can conduct periodic surveys about concerns, conduct brainstorming sessions to address genuine concerns, be open to change and reevaluate to find out beneficial activities as required. This can only be effective when there is a strong teamwork, synergy, and collaboration among middle school and primary school faculties. This transition phase has an impact on the school life and leaves a lasting impression for many years to come. There is a need for cooperation and dedication from all involved. A small interaction with the teacher, a subject, or another student can influence the child's opinion of school life and education right into adulthood. Given the impact of COVID-19 pandemic on schooling, the transition to secondary school is more important than ever because they will have missed out the better part of 2 years of their consistent socializing at school, impacting their social development. Anxiety about the transition is also bound to prevail. There could be separation anxiety due to leaving their comfort zone established with their primary teachers behind. There is also an educational shift. Students meet a more rigorous curriculum. New skills need to be fostered. There is an organizational shift. There are different teachers or different subjects, maybe even different classrooms. There are new set of rules and new school ethos. There could be a geographical shift, a new building, new layout, or a completely different geographical location, new transport routes, and safety protocols. There is a biological shift, puberty, changes in physical appearance. Positive impacts of this transition are increased sense of independence and accountability, feeling of pride in their work and achievements, good bonds with peers and teachers, positive changes in personality, a love of learning with new subjects and experts. But there are a few negative impacts in this transition too. Decreased attendance, find studying too challenging, anxiety about going to school, low self-esteem, missing the primary school, getting lost in a new building, not able to keep up with the deadlines, bullying, lack of academic achievement. So, how can we help children? Understand the process of school. Help children in routine. Speak with the teachers. Connect with other parents. Ask how their day was. Foster open and honest relationship. Avoid being overly inquisitive. Children should be told that it is okay to get some things wrong and it is a part of the learning process. Teachers should pay close attention. Prepare children for the change. Now let's look at some tools that will help us provide children direction and develop a sense of purpose. 1. Cultivate curiosity. Help students discover what they are interested in and what motivates them. Expose them to a variety of topics and walks of life. If student excels in a certain area, point it out. Inspire and encourage them to explore their passions. 2. Encourage self-reflection. Help them understand what makes them happy. Identify where do they want to put their efforts into. What matters to them? Listening to what others think about them and appreciative. Reflect on feedback from others. 3. Drive goal setting. Set clear goals. Make realistic plans to accomplish them. SMART goals. That means specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound goals. 4. Model and mentor. Make powerful impact on the students. Teachers should provide support, reinforce students that they can achieve what they set out to do, and more. Foster a growth mindset development. 5. Connect to the real world. Make them understand education is closer to reality of their life than they think. Get students involved in real world problems. Teach them about inspirational people. Bridge the gap between classroom and life. Give students voice through participation in different committees and handling responsibilities. Help them realize the power they have to make a difference for the things they care about. With the changing world, the profile of new generation students is changing too. Lifelong learning requires people to do not only constantly learn new things, but also to unlearn and relearn as the world changes. There needs to be a shift from qualification-based certification system to more knowledge and skill-based certification system. It's time to highlight on what individuals can actually do, applying the knowledge learned creatively in novel situations. In the age of artificial intelligence, it is important to understand how we can pair the artificial intelligence of computers with the cognitive, social, and emotional skills and values in children. Education in future is not just about teaching children something, but also helping them develop a reliable compass to navigate an increasingly complex, ambiguous, and volatile world. This will be at the heart of learning. Tomorrow's citizens will need to think for themselves and join others with empathy in work and citizenship. It is all about how we share and integrate knowledge. Employers increasingly seek to attract learners who easily adapt and can share, apply, and transfer their skills and knowledge. The challenge is that developing such cognitive, social, and emotional capabilities requires a very different approach to teaching and learning. Now, education is becoming more integrated with an emphasis on interrelation of subjects along with integration of students. It is becoming more connected with learning closely related to real-world contexts and becoming project-based and helping students to think across the boundaries of subject matter. The role of teacher is elevated as co-creator and designer of innovative learning environments. Inquiry-based teaching methods, facilitating hands-on activities, cooperative learning may be helpful. Building an ecosystem around learning to create communities that can make learning more social and fun. Building the capacity and motivation for lifelong learning. So how can teachers' community be helpful? Let's look at some tools that can help us help children. First, shift from teacher-centric approach to student-centric approach. Encourage pair work, group activity, group discussion, project work, use of library, self-study, and students' participation. Let students think. Play the role of a facilitator. 2. Teacher as a role model. Children imitate their teachers, so we must make good and correct choices. During tough situations, weigh pros and cons. Apologize and admit mistakes. Be punctual. Finish what you started. Don't quit. Keep promises. Don't back off when things get challenging. Show respect. Be in the process of continuous learning. Demonstrate confidence. 3. Teaching character and moral values. Be honest. Avoid partiality. Build trust. When you show trust, fear of failure is transformed into an opportunity to learn. Be fair. Give same opportunities to all and encourage them to reach the goal. be responsible, be accountable to students, teachers, parents, institution, and society, creating a positive learning environment. And finally, it is important for us to develop a positive, healthy, and strong bond with our students. We must wear different hats and play different roles to our students. Sometimes that of a friend or a guide, by showing them goals they have to achieve and lead them by going along with them. Be ready to spend some extra time for students or the institution if needed. To build a rapport, we need to come down to the level of the student. School is their second home and teacher is a substituent parent. The responsibility of a teacher in the classroom is very significant. As the saying goes, an ordinary teacher tells, a good teacher demonstrates, and the best teacher inspires. In the classroom, teachers are inspirers, felicitators, and guides. Teachers need to be mediators of culture, enrich cultural growth, and motivate to solve social problems. We must also play the role of environmental educator, create environmental awareness to protect, preserve, and conserve our environment. We are value educators and must also empower students with learning differences and challenges by making the school environment inclusive. As educators, we must be up to date with our subject knowledge, foster an environment full of compassion, empathy, attitude of love and sympathy. We must be a student of the students. In this modern era, teaching is a complex process and the role of a teacher is also complex, multidimensional and challenging. It is a time-consuming process and needs constant concentration of mind. For all this, the teacher should be a continuous learner. Thus, the role of a teacher in education is everlasting and evergreen. A good teacher is like a candle. It consumes itself to light the way for others. Thank you.
Yeah. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Manjusharam. Thank you for your views. And now I will take to Ajit sir. Rama teacher is unfortunately not available due to connectivity issues. So now I request Ajit sir to please take over. Ajit sir, forum is open for you.
In the meantime, I think somebody has raised the hands, Let us give hands.
Okay.
Probably have something relevant to talk about.
Yeah, Bhaskar has raised the hand. So if you have any question, you can unmute and ask your question. Yeah, Bhaskar. If you have any question, you can please unmute and ask your question. I think, sir, it is by mistake.
Yeah, probably it was by mistake.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, let's start.
Yes,
First,
sir.
of course, thank all the three eminent teachers who addressed this forum since morning. Very valid kind of views they came out with. Now, I would like to go a little deeper. As it DSPPL, they have started looking into this issue much deeper than probably the world is looking at. As you rightly said during your introduction, that 2004 was 1 year where we started looking into the matter a little more deeply for the simple reason that for the first time we realized there's something which is happening which is beyond generation gap. And after doing a research, rightly as you say, 10,500 children, teachers, parents all over the world, we realized that we stumbled upon something which probably the world had missed. And what we came out with as a part of the research, and as I was leading the research from 2004 to 2017, what we came across was mainly there's a structural transition which is happening in the new generation. And when I talk about structural transition, let me make it clear that it is the DNA which plays a very large role in human abilities in human life. And what we realized was, after talking to a lot of DNA activists, DNA scientists, spiritualists, the educationists, and of course our own research, that there are 28 different personality traits, which make this generation, especially when I say this generation, We started with 1986 as the cutoff point. And then we realized between 1986 and 1990, 1990 to 2000, and 2000 till today, there are 3 different phases. And we realized that out of 28 personality traits, which are supposed to be different than any other generations in the past, that there are 3 stages. I mean, till about 1990, we found almost about 70-80% generation members, were showing different traits. Between 1990 to 2000, probably it was some 80 or 90%. And after 2000, we have come to the conclusion that almost 100% of the new generation members, they are showing these traits. So something which is getting established now. And expresses through 5 dimensions of life, including psychological life, including physiological life, including emotional life, including intellectual life, and of course, including spiritual life. There are 5 dimensions to the human life. And in all 5 counts, they are showing so different expressions, so different manifestations of this basic change, where we believe that the 3rd DNA strand, which is supposed to be called as a junk strand or junk DNA, as the scientists used to say in 1980s, has suddenly realized that the 3rd strand in the 12 strands of DNA which got activated, which made these 28 different personality points. And we discussed that we must have visited 250, 300 schools by now, various universities abroad as well as in India, talked on various forums with teachers. And somewhere I'm talking about this, something which we need to really understand. There's a major shift. No, it's not only about 9 to 11, but the entire generation, which is representing this transition. Basically, there's a major shift of spectrum of human consciousness. And the spectrum has already shifted toward the intelligence. Is based on the human emotions as a center point. If there's no feelings between the family, within the family, between the husband and the wife, between the parents and the child, between the grandparents and the parents, at various dimensions of relationship, if you don't feel for each other, probably the civilization would never have stood up. And someday the major news that I would like to make is that the core of civilization is getting broken. And when we realized that, we thought it is going to be disastrous for humanity. Human also is a species, which is likely to get extinct over a period of time. And the extinction is coming much faster because of these things which we are not aware about. And we started a movement to create awareness in various universities, colleges, teaching institutions, at various forums. Somebody talked about sharing and caring. There are 2 approaches when the transition happens. And there's a huge transition which is happening, which you want everybody to be clear about. And that is what this PBL program is basically based on, that foundation. See, there are conventional approach towards parenting or maybe teaching. And there is a newer approach based on the structural changes. Because probably I think teacher has been teaching for the last 40 years. And suddenly, because we interact with a lot of teachers at various levels, various schools. And suddenly we realize that the teacher community is somewhere getting shaken for the simple reason that even if you are teaching for the last 30, 40 years, suddenly you realize that all that what you are experiencing the skills in teaching do not work. Now suddenly you realize that you need to be different than what you did. For the simple reason, the profile of the student sitting in front of you is so different, which you have never probably taught 30 years ago, 20, 25 years ago. Sharing and caring are basically the fallouts of the mind and the emotions. Sharing always comes from the mind. The whole idea of sharing comes from the mind. And the whole idea of caring from the heart. And if you look at the human chemistry or human biology, I'm not talking the physical biology part of it, humanity as an existence. If you look at the mind, intellect, and emotions are the core of human existence. And that is where we normally used to call it chitta in our ancient times. The chitta means the intellect, the mind, and the emotions. Intellect produces the ideas, mind creates the thought out of those ideas, and the heart creates the feelings out of those ideas, and ultimately the body creates the karma or the actions. So before actions, these 3 things are very, very vital and core to the human existence. rightly, I think that when the observation was made that the sharing and caring is very essential, unfortunately, it is very low in these children. What we observe, most of the children do not have much of a feeling. Emotionally, they are very low. Mentally, they are also very low. Intellectually, they're before. Because I think when we talk of generational kind of evolution, the first generation and the earliest generation we can talk of 26,000 years ago, because normally they say after every 26,000 years, the human DNA structure changes. And I'm talking of the generation one, where probably the only one strand out of the 12 was active. They were very close to animality, in terms of Swami Vivekananda. And probably thereafter, last 26,000 years, we moved into the zone of humanity, where we had two strands operating at the same time. So whatever progress, whatever so-called we have done in like technology and all that stuff, the way of living, it changed because of the second strand was active. And the news was that I think around 1980s, the mid of 80s or early 90s, the third strand opened up. And again, we are getting into some different kind of evolution of human being, where the third strand was on. And suddenly we realized that there's a change in the spectrum of human existence. The children are very extremely intellectual, but much lower on mind and emotions. So they create fantastic ideas. They're very intellectual of information. But unfortunately, those ideas are not getting translated into the thoughts because the mind is not as strong as for the early generation. And even those thoughts are not converted into a passion or a feeling to get converted to the human action, to the behavior. So there is a lot of backlash of the ideas which are not processed into the thought. And that is a major reason, as we have found out, why this generation is so volatile, why the generation is so violent. No, basically because they're spontaneous. They don't have the time. The time of reaction is so low as compared to our generation. So somewhere I think the cognizance of all these transitional changes, structural changes have to be taken into consideration before we talk of the educational policy, before we talk of the educational approach, or even before we talk of creating a new generation and new world. So all these have been taken care of in the DSPK curriculums. That is something which I would like to impress upon. One should also understand these aspects and change the parental approach. It may not be effective enough otherwise. Conventionally, whatever everybody knows one has to behave good. I don't think one has to really tell anyone. Those formulas have already been set, but unfortunately, the driving force, the inner force behind the goodness or the badness has somewhere not exactly the way we used to do. So somewhere I think all these models of the past, all the references to the past are no longer valid. Now that is something which we'll have to really understand. So I think we need to have a different kind of a viewpoint. And transitional changes at the age of 9, when we talk specifically of 9 and 11, because one has to understand the chemistry of humanity, not only the chemistry of the body, but chemistry of humanity. If you look at the chemistry of the body, if you look at that, as Pranjalji rightly said right in the beginning introduction, that at till the 9 years or till 8 years are crossed, there's a lot of serotonin generated inside the body. And that serotonin comes basically because of the pineal gland, which is very dominant. That's why that sattvika, that masumta, that innocence, and that kind of bubbling nature and the happiness that the child exudes is basically because of that particular chemical. At the age of 8 or 9, between the interface of these 2 years, suddenly the pituitary gland become very dominant and the pineal gland become dormant. And suddenly the whole picture changes. The adrenaline starts getting produced much more as compared to the serotonin. And suddenly you realize the child has changed. Now I think every parent, every teacher, every society member has to be very clear about this kind of transition. And when the adrenaline is produced, it's very rajasic, it's very activity-oriented kind of thing. And our ancestors probably, I think, we believe in ancient wisdom, and that is something which we normally try to imbibe into the new generation too, because it's about wisdom. It's not about ancient or modern. Wisdom is a wisdom. So somewhere we need to address looking at 360 degrees angles. And suddenly we realize that this transition, adrenaline, when it's produced in the body, needs to be consumed. It's like an acid. It's an energy which needs to be consumed. If it's not consumed, the accumulation of the energy is a huge problem, physically, mentally, emotionally, etc. In the earlier times, what they used to do is they used to have certain kind of technologies called open NVD, etc., etc. And I think the modern technology is the most welcome to step in to address this particular question. Serotonin over a period, how to extend it for another couple of years, so that a transition between the serotonin and adrenaline, transition between the sattvic and rajasic becomes normal. And this is what exactly we are also taking care of in our curriculums. So somewhere I think that basic innocent nature, that bubbliness, that what you can say, masumta, all those things have to be retained for some time. Because see, there are two kinds of eyes, every education system we address to. I mean, it's like a cataract operation. I always say, what do we do with cataract? You just remove the cataract, don't remove the eye. And the child is born with two eyes, the innocence and the ignorance. The education system is supposed to take over the ignorance and replace it with the wisdom, not the innocence. And somewhere what we see today, the education system is making children even robust in the name of making them smart. And we are trying to make them wise. The child should be wise, not smart. So I think somewhere we need to look into the systems of education, the systems, the physiological system, the judiciary system, because we have been advising a lot of judiciary community also because of crimes and juvenile crimes, which are growing all over the world very fast. So somewhere I think we need to appreciate what the role the adrenaline or the acids play in human transitions. Secondly, somebody said about playing on mobile. I think it's a very noble thought that do not give mobile to the children. But I think the whole education system is now gearing around the mobile as a system. So there are a couple of things we really need to be seriously looking at about. See, playing on mobile, according to me, is not a problem. But why the child is playing on mobile, not understanding that is a problem. Because when you understand why the child is getting connected to the mobile, why he's getting hooked to the mobile, why he's getting affiliated to the mobile, is basically because the carbon element in the mobile, that selenium, what we call normally silicon. Because they have carbon affinity. We have also found out spiritually they are highly carbon affinity oriented. So many a times we have seen, they are very natural to put them into the nature, because nature has a lot of carbon, nature has a lot of silicon. So somewhere the third eye chakra, the intellect oriented chakra, needs to be more moderated, and that is what exactly the carbon affinity tries to do it. So somewhere we don't tell them not to play on the mobile, but we tell them what to do if not play on the mobile. So there are various methods and means that one has to really find out as a teaching community, so that they can be given an option. Today we are not providing them an option. Another option probably the schools and the education systems can really look into. If they are given a mobile to have a study, see that it is confined only to that, for some kind of what you can say barriers, so that they don't have to cross, somewhere I think we have got to look into that as a tool. Another couple of things I would like to make, especially as the DSPAB is concerned, we have developed two new methods of teaching or evaluation. One is we call IQ. Normally, when we talk of IQ, we know about I.Q. Intelligent quotient. But somewhere our IQ has a different spelling, IKEW. I stands for information, K stands for knowledge, E stands for experience, and W stands for wisdom. So this is a new teaching method that we have come out with to tell the current generation that what you are getting exposed today is to information, not the knowledge, neither the wisdom. Unless that information is translated to knowledge by teaching community and offered to the new generation as a student, allowing them to experience and create a wisdom within. Now, this is something which is the path that we have all have been working for the last about 11 years. The second thing that my appeal to the community of teachers is differential growth evaluation methods. We have come out with differential growth because we know everybody is intelligent in his or her way. There's nobody who is not intelligent. Okay? So somewhere when we evaluate, what are we evaluating? Are we evaluating the upgradation of his own wisdom, or are we evaluating his information or the knowledge with respect to the other people, other children in the school? So I think, as Swami Vivekananda said beautifully, education is not a competition with others. Education is competition with your own self. You should be better in the standard 2 than what you were in standard 1, and standard 3 better than standard 2. And this is a progressive path which ultimately reaches to an apex point of excellence. So somewhere I think we have started working with BGEM. We don't ask them to compete with the children around. We want to compete themselves and beat themselves so that they can reach their absolute potential point. Another issue that we are trying to work around is there's a lot of hullabaloo about the artificial intelligence. And somewhere I think we have forgotten that natural intelligence has not been even tapped to 5%. And that's a tremendous amount of natural intelligence which is unexplored, which needs to be explored, because we have a lot of answers for the future hidden into the natural intelligence. So somewhere I think there's a limit up to which we can think of artificial intelligence. Actually, truly speaking, there's nothing artificial. Every artificiality has a base of spirituality. Every artificiality has a base of naturalness. As our friend Max Planck, who got a Nobel Prize for matter, had to stand up on the platform after receiving his Nobel. And the first sentence he said, unfortunately, there's no matter. There's only spirit. Spirit is the mother of matter. So somewhere the nature is the mother of all artificial. So somewhere I think we need to create these kind of things into the new generation. We need to imbibe with values, as Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam said beautifully, that the technological excellence without the platform or the foundation of spirituality is fatal to humankind. And is coming from the top-notch scientist of India once upon a time. So somewhere I think we need to take his words very seriously, provide the right kind of value foundation. Let children have the values. As Pranjalji said earlier, that becoming engineer is one, but becoming a human engineer is something different, proposition altogether. Becoming a doctor could be one proposition, and becoming a human doctor who understands human as a human, and with that kind of a seva bhav, that kind of a idea of service to the humanity, that is something which is very, very important. And we have about 24 different values, which actually make beautiful world possible. So I think every child is intelligent, every child is excellent, every child is basically nice and kind. Now somewhere I think we need to appreciate the changes which are coming through. Maybe we'll have to modify our systems of life, including education system. And the new education policy gives a lot of hope. We are very happy that some of the points that I'm talking about have already been addressed. Don't look at the student as a human body sitting in front of you. Understand he's a human existence sitting in front of you. Don't take him as a resource, as normally the industry does. Human resource, Human is not a resource. Human is a source of tremendous potential, source of tremendous energy. And we are trying to tap that unlimited energy within that, so that he breaks through all his limitations. As Yogi Aravindo used to say, we need to break through the limitation. That is what the whole idea of education is. So somewhere I think we need to work on the creativity. We need to work on the multiple possibilities of a better world tomorrow. I think with the right kind of approach and right kind of positivity is thrown, probably I think, otherwise it's going to be a huge challenge. I say a challenge because for the last 26,000 years, we are used to a particular way of life. Myself, my generation, and so many others like you, already fitted ourselves into the slot provided to us. Unfortunately, the new generation does not fit into the slot. We need to create the slots, which means we need to create new systems, physiological, judicial, educational, scientific. Everything needs to be expanded, everything needs to be adapted, because we cannot change the children. They are born with the structural changes. So somewhere I think you cannot change the structure with these forms. What you can do is provide the environment, what you normally call so there's something like generic epigenetics. So the genetic aspect has already been taken by the nature. And when both of them work together in sync, I think we'll have a wonderful world to stay within. So with this, I think I'll close my presentation. Thank you very much for a very pleasant presentations earlier. And thank you for very patient listening. So I think all of us put our hands together, put our brains together and hearts together. Probably I think we'll come out with something much better proposition to the world. So once again, thank all the teachers who came on this forum and presented their views, and we're very happy that I think we are all coming together, the good people coming together, and the good idea as a mission For us at DS People, this is a mission, pathway to wisdom. So thank you very much. And if any questions for any of the presentations done before, I think we should all be happy to address. Thank you, Pranjalji, for providing this opportunity on the SPPL platform, social empowerment program.
Yes, thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. As stated, we will take question and answers if any. There are quick questions. And before that, we will make just a small announcement relating to the programs. जैसे गुरुजी ने अभी कहा, based on IQ model, moving from information to knowledge to experience to wisdom, we are holding the non-residential camps for the age group of 9 to 11 years in various cities of India, including Pune, Mumbai, Nasik, of course, at our homeland of Devruk, and also in Bangalore, Ahmedabad, and Vadodara. Entire information is available on our website, www.dspp.com.in, and you are kindly requested to please go on that particular website and enroll your child for this non-residential program. सुबह 10 से लेकर शाम को 6 बजे तक 5, 7 और 9 दिन के non-residential programs for the age group of 9, 10 and 11 years are being conducted. May 2023 में ये programs होने वाले हैं, mostly during the time period of 1st May to 10th May. तो मैं आपसे रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा कि if you are interested, please log on to website dsppair.in. इसके बारे में और कुछ जानकारी चाहिए, then that information is also available on the website. हमारे coordinators के numbers भी वहाँ पे दिए गए हैं, so you can definitely be connected with them. Coming back to our speakers, thank you very much once again, Archana teacher, Kamla teacher, Manjusha teacher. Thank you to all the participants, parents, teachers. Thank you to Ajit sir. Thank you very much. If there are any questions, we can take 1-2 questions. Yeah, Abhijit has question. Yeah, Abhijit, please go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, first of all, thank you everyone for this session. Some of the doubts are already cleared, but just wanted to check one thing with the panel and everyone here. I am experiencing that my child, I have two kids, both of them are confident, but being a parent, the overprotectiveness, I asked them not to do some of the things. Simple example, they wanted to ride a bicycle on the road. Looking at the other surroundings and environment, I asked them not to go alone. So is this the overprotectiveness from my side? Because my kids are very confident. So how to how to deal with this situation? There are many more, but just to conclude in the topic, today's topic, I just wanted to put this question. Thank you.
Thank you, Abhijit. Yeah, Ajit sir.
I think it's a very natural parental response what you're doing. It's absolutely normal to my knowledge. And because you're trying to protect them, it's not overprotection, it's not something like pampering, but I think you're more realistic, more experienced than them, and you're supposed to guide them as a parent. So I don't think there's anything wrong in saying that don't ride cycle on the main road, because you have a larger overview as compared to the children. Probably I think this is the right way to guide it. I don't see anything wrong with doing that. So I think only thing, give them an explanation, because this generation needs a lot of explanation. Tell them about the traffic and the road, tell them that they are unruly, and tell them that most of the accidents happen not because of you, but somebody else. So somewhere I think we need to share our experiences with them. And I think that should work. Thank you very much, Abhijit.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Yeah. Any other question? Okay, thank you very much. Once again, on behalf of DSPPL, I'm thankful to all the teachers, Archana teacher, Kamla teacher, Manjusha teacher, and Ajit sir. Thank you to all the parents, teachers, and other participants who have joined today. As I said, if you are interested, please enroll for 9 to 11 years non-residential program, which is happening in different cities of India. Thank you very much. With this, we will end today's meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
हो गया